Bills training camp 2024 storylines. I'm Jonathan Acosta, joined here by our Bills insider, Vic Carucci. And Vic, in terms of the defense, maybe one of the biggest question marks outside of maybe who's going to start at safety is what the Bills are going to get out of that pass rush. Von Miller, we saw him return last season from injury. Didn't have any sacks, though not the Von Miller that we've been used to seeing. Gone is Leonard Floyd, who was a huge free agent signing for this team. When you assess this pass rushing group for the Bills, what do you see?
I'm still not sure where the Bills' pass rush is going to come from. I don't know that Von Miller is actually going to ever look like he did at the beginning of the 2022 season up through that injury he suffered at Thanksgiving, that knee injury that has set him back. And yes, he was showing some signs of recovering and flashes of the old Von Miller toward the end of last season and in the postseason. But still, on a consistent basis, are we really going to see Von Miller at 35 be the pass rusher that the Bills invested a great deal of money to get? And then after that, Greg Rousseau, is his ceiling pretty much been hit? He's a wonderful athlete. He's a very intelligent player. I know he tries to utilize all of his skills to the fullest, but this really has to be a breakout year for him, for a team that desperately needs someone to step up and be a pass rusher. They have paid big money to keep A.J. Epinesa in the fold. There were doubts about whether they do that, but the investment was made because he is a young guy that the Bills knew another team would see has a high ceiling and therefore make an investment in him. So instead, whatever cap room the Bills had, they decided to devote that to him. The payoff, though, has to be A.J. Epinesa playing at the highest level possible. Not just a pass rusher, also a guy who helps against the run. But the greatest need, the most crying need of this defense is stepping up on the pass rush.
And Rousseau and Epinesa, McDermott was asked about it, and he said it, that they're two guys that the Bills are counting on sort of taking that next leap this season. Can that Bills pass rush be successful? And I guess to an even bigger question, can the Bills defense be successful this year if they don't get sort of that leap in production from Epinesa and Rousseau?
All the questions that are raised by the changeover on the back end of this defense could intensify if this pass rush doesn't show up. And when I mean show up, on a consistent basis, put pressure on the quarterbacks you have to defeat during the course of the season and in the postseason. The best quarterbacks in the league are in the AFC. They're the rivals of the Buffalo Bills, and we still don't know, what they're going to see on a regular basis in their own division, depending on the health of Aaron Rodgers, depending on the development of Tua Tagovailoa. But nonetheless, if the pass rush is only solid to good, the quarterbacks they face are going to have opportunities to take advantage of all the chemistry that isn't there, at least early on the back end, the meshing that needs to be done on the back end with new people at safety, new people basically at cornerback, and trying to adjust to all of that. So I'm concerned, frankly, for this defense there for the pass rush. And this will also put pressure on Bobby Babich as a first-year defensive coordinator and on Sean McDermott to find ways, maybe schematically too, to generate heat on quarterbacks.
And Vic, very quickly, last question. The Bills signed Leonard Floyd kind of late in the process last year, and he ended up being huge for them, double-digit sacks. Do you think if they're in training camp in a week in or 2 weeks in, they're still not maybe comfortable with what they're seeing? Do you think that's a possibility maybe that they go out and try to get a veteran pass rusher?
The Leonard Floyd signing was really catching lightning in a bottle. I don't think you get a player as effective as he was, at least through the point that he had suffered an injury, late in the year and kind of tailed off through the last 6 games, but was still a highly effective pass rusher. But I don't think you find that guy at this late stage. Maybe a team will let someone go, or maybe they could make a deal for somebody. But I frankly think that they're putting their full faith into what they have, into Von Miller showing that he can be what he was. And if that doesn't happen, let's see, what the future holds for Von Miller as a Buffalo Bill. Does he make it onto the 53-man roster if his effectiveness is in any way limited? Took that big pay cut as well. And then the rest of it is Greg Rousseau, A.J. Epinesa, and what they did with the middle of this defense, trying to enhance the additions that they made there, but also getting the best out of Ed Oliver, who showed last year that the new contract he got was paying off. They're going to need Oliver to be a big, big factor to help draw attention away from the outside people.
Pass rush certainly one of the biggest question marks facing this Bills team as they approach this year's training camp. That's it for this episode of Bills Training Camp Storylines. Stay tuned. We'll have more here on the WGRZ YouTube page and WGRZ.com. Vic, thank you so much for joining us.